2021 and a lot has changed for me. For one, I don't have bangs anymore. 2, I don't have a boyfriend anymore. And 3, Queenie no longer has one of her toenails. It fell completely off, and she had absolutely nothing to say about it. There was no crying, no whining. There was just some blood on the bed sheets one day, and then I noticed that there was a hole in her foot where her toenail used to be. And it doesn't look like it's gonna be growing back, so yeah. Actually, it is starting to grow back. Queenie, your toenail is growing back. As for the breakup, it was very sad, but it also happened about 3 months ago, so now it's kind of just a fact of life. Shahan and I still care about each other very much. We've actually still been in contact just because I am still living in the condo that we shared while he lives with his parents for a bit. I just wanted to be able to apply to nursing school without having the stress of moving on top of that, and now that I've done that, I can finally look for my own place, which is what this video is about. So if you would like to join me in my apartment hunt, then stick around because that's what I'm going to be talking about. So here are the things that I'm looking for in my apartment. First of all, the price range has to be around $1,200 to $1,400. I don't mind living in a studio. In fact, most studios start to become decent at around the price range I'm looking at. Ideally, I'd want a lot of counter space in the kitchen, just because I'm in the kitchen a lot. It would be nice if the kitchen was just like kind of separated from the rest of the living space. Not required, but something that I would like as well. A non-negotiable in the kitchen is I have to have a gas-powered stovetop, just because when I was living in Australia for a year, we had an electric stove in one of the places we were living at, and I hated it so much. I don't know why electric stoves have to fluctuate in their heat, like they turn on and then turn off and then turn on and then turn off, and that just messes with your cooking so much, and I never got used to it. Another non-negotiable is that my new place would have to have a lot of natural light throughout the day, just because, yes, it makes things easier when you're filming, and it also is just really depressing if you live in a place that doesn't have natural light or is really dark throughout the day. And another thing is for there to be grass outside or nearby for Queenie, because I do have to take her out like 3 times a day, so that's a thing. And for the bathroom, I'm not super picky. I just want it to be clean and not super old looking. So yeah, that's it. That's not asking too much, is it? No. Also, please bear with me. I did not intend to make this video when I saw the first couple of places that I looked at, so I filmed them vertically, and so you're gonna have to deal with some vertical videos for a little bit. I don't know, for some reason it feels wrong to include vertical videos on YouTube. I don't know. Okay, anyway, yeah, some of them are filmed vertically. Get over it if you have a problem with it. If you don't, which I hope you don't, then cool. Okay. Cool. So the website that I used to find apartments was apartments.com, because I don't know, I just thought it felt a lot more legit than Craigslist, and you know, like I wasn't gonna come across a posting where someone was gonna try to kidnap me if I went into a apartment. But yeah, no, I just liked how usually on apartments.com, like a lot of the pictures are a lot nicer. There's an explanation of what the apartment looks like, what amenities are included. I also liked how simple it was to contact the property managers or leasing agencies or whatever, because there was literally just in the corner a place where you could check boxes as to whether you wanted to make an appointment or view a place, or even check to see if the listing was still available and all that good stuff. So it just made things a lot easier. So yeah, thanks apartments.com, you were great. the first apartment that I looked at was in Glendale, and for those of you who don't know, which is hopefully all of you, except for you, Mom, I currently live in Glendale, and I love living in Glendale, but this was the only studio apartment that I found in my price range that I actually liked enough to go see. I saw it at nighttime, but I saw pictures of it in the day and saw that it got a lateral light. It had a pretty nice spacious main area. It had 2 walk-in closets, which is honestly probably more than I would ever need, but nice to have. It had a lot of cabinet space. It also had a decently sized bathroom that was kind of dirty. There was a little spider guy hanging out in the bathtub, but the property manager assured me that that would be taken care of before the new tenant moved in. And it had a nice, beautiful view of a chevron. So yeah, the kitchen was all I could ever really ask for in a studio apartment. It had a space near the window where I could put a dining table. It was actually really nice and I really liked it. The only thing is that even though the base price was $12.95, that didn't include utilities, which would be an additional $95 a month. And it didn't include parking, which if I wanted it would be another $120 or $135, I forget how much, dollars a month on top of that. So the actual total cost per month would be over $1,500, which was $100 more than the max I'd be willing to pay. My impulsive ass was sold by the property manager who was like, you're never gonna find a place like this size with these amenities and at this price and in this location and all that, and I still applied to this place because I had no idea what landlords were looking for. I had no idea how the application process was. I was a complete noob pretty much at this point. I also didn't have a job at the time, and I was driving Postmates, which is kind of a huge red flag to landlords because, you know, it's not really consistent, verifiable income. You don't have a supervisor or boss that can reference you because you are an independent contractor. And I don't know, my application was a hot mess, and I still thought like, oh no, it's fine. Like I can make enough a month if I need to, and I also have savings and stuff, which I didn't include in my application. I don't know, I for sure just donated $50 to them because one look at my application is like, we're not even gonna bother to do a credit check on this person because there's no way. At the time, I also didn't know that landlords typically in LA look for the tenant to make at least 2.5 times the rental price per month. And if not, they can have a co-signer or guarantor who basically is the person who will pay if the tenant is unable to. And the co-signer or guarantor has to make 4 times the amount of the monthly rent, usually, typically. I just want to hop in really quickly and say that there are ways to get around this income requirement. The best way is to have a co-signer or guarantor who just makes more money and can, you know, promise to pay if you can't. But you can also offer, you know, more months rent up front. You can offer a bigger security deposit. It helps if your credit score is really good. And I thought that because my credit score is bomb, that would be enough to get me through. But the thing is, without any money to, you know, just having money to back that up, they're not even gonna bother looking at my credit score. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm a responsible person if I just literally don't have the money to pay for the place. So yeah. So yeah, I didn't know that, and that was the first place that I ever looked at. Lesson learned, definitely. The next location that I checked out was in Hollywood, and it was an interesting situation because there wasn't actually a leasing agent or property manager to physically show me around. I just had to text a number and be like, hey, I'm interested in this address. And then they'll tell me, oh, the lockbox is this. It was really convenient and really cool. I liked it because I don't like people watching me look at things and stuff. Yeah. So the units that I looked at ranged from $11.95 to $13.95, I think, if I remember correctly. And they were all actually decently sized. I think the only difference was that the cheaper places either had really tiny kitchens or they had a bathroom that was really dark and creepy and weirdly placed. There were also some units where there was a brick wall, which I know is like an in thing right now, but to me it was too much, like too much brick, too much red, I don't know. It wasn't my thing. There was one unit that I actually really liked a lot. I loved the wood floors. The kitchen looked like it had been recently refurnished and it looked really nice. The bathroom was really nice, but the bathtub was filthy, which I know is something that would be taken care of, hopefully, before the tenant moves in, but why can't they just clean it before people are seeing it? I don't know, it's just... but besides that, it had a nice walk-in closet, and it was just really nice. Definitely a place that I was considering. In the same day, I looked at another location that was being offered by the same leasing company, and oh my gosh, this place was so nice. I loved this place so much. It was located in Rampart Village, and the rent was $13.50, which was, you know, closer to the upper part of my budget. But it also had the 3rd month of rent-free special, and included in the price is a private parking spot, which is so rare to find in LA for this price. And, you know, on top of the fact that the place just looked super nice. There were 2 large windows that let in a lot of natural sunlight. The view was of the street, but it wasn't like a super busy street. And the kitchen was a great size, and it looked really nice. And there was enough space for like a decently sized dining table in the kitchen area as well. And I just loved that like all of that was separated from the main room. The wood flooring was really nice. There was a walk-in closet. The door was leading to the outside instead of into like a hallway. I just loved this place so much from the moment that I walked in. And I knew that I could not make the same mistake with the application that I did with the first place. So I decided to take $10,000 out of my stock accounts and put it into my bank account so that I could show that I had some money. I also got a guarantor, co-signer person to sign with me who made 4 times the amount of rent. Like, I just wanted to go all out with this application, and then I hit a wall. I found out that the only way to prove that I had the $10,000 in my bank account was like through like an official bank statement, because although I could just screenshot, I guess, my bank account, there was no way of showing like my name, my address, like to show that this account was actually tied to me without a proper bank statement. And the bank statement cycle had just restarted, and I had to wait an entire month for my new bank statement to show my new balance with over $10,000. And so I basically could not apply to this place. And I don't know, I knew that it was such a good place, and I knew that it was gonna go very quickly, and I watched it for a couple of days, and in like 4 days the listing was taken down because somebody got to it. And I was so sad. I was very, very, very sad, but it is what it is. So So, in an interesting turn of events, the month of waiting actually turned out to be not so bad after all, because in that month, I got a job. I got a job scheduling COVID vaccines for people in Texas remotely. It's full-time with as much overtime as I want, and it is just a job with consistent, verifiable income, and it's just really, really good for an application. I also got my new bank statement that showed that my bank account had over $10,000 in it, and I also was able to get a guarantor who made more than 4 times the amount. So with those things combined, I actually had a really good chance of getting an apartment and getting someone to believe that I could actually afford to live somewhere by myself. Yay! So I was back on the hunt. The first place that I looked at was this place in Westlake South. And I don't know LA, and I wasn't really paying attention to the locations that I was looking at, but Westlake is a lot closer to downtown than I had hoped it would be. So that already, like, location-wise, it was kind of meh. When I walked into, there was just like this gigantic double screen with a bunch of security camera footage showing, like, you know, and I was like, this could either be like a really good thing or a really, like, why do they need this thing? Like, why is this necessary here? So yeah, that was also something I was thinking about. But I still decided to go look at the units, and they ranged in price from $1,100 to $1,225, which is like closer to the lower end of my budget. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And I went in and saw that the reason why they are so cheap is because they were tiny. Like, they were so small, with the kitchen just pressed up, the kitchen. Basically just a countertop with a sink and a 2-part electric stove pressed up against one wall. And I was like, yeah, no. I actually didn't even take any videos of this place because I knew that I wasn't gonna apply to any of these units. The property manager did show me one room that was considered a single, which was about the size of just like a regular studio. And it was nice. Like, it looked like it was recently refurnished, and, you know, the bathroom looked nice. It was just that the layout of this place was kind of weird, because you had the main room and then this really skinny short hallway thing with the bathroom on one side, a closet on the other side, and then the kitchen, which I guess isn't that weird, but I don't know, I kind of liked a more open floor plan. And there were also 2 front doors leading to this place, because this apartment just happened to be right where there was a firewall in the hallway. And so in case of a fire, I guess people could still access either side of the firewall through this specific apartment. I don't know, it was okay. Potentially a consideration, also like meh. The next place I looked at was in MacArthur Park, which is not as close to downtown as Westlake is, but it's still like kind of close to downtown. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like there are people who like really want to live close to downtown, and I am not one of those people. Like, the further the better. This place was actually $1,400, which was high in my price range, but it looked nice. I couldn't really tell from the pictures how I felt about it, so I wanted to see it in person. And when I actually like went to the hallway lobby area, it looked a little, I don't know, old and worn and kind of dirty, so I was kind of like whatever about it. But I still wanted to see the unit just to see what it's like on the inside, and I never could, because the leasing agent never showed up or said anything. I was already whatever about this place, but the fact that I couldn't even see the unit made it a definite no. All right. Oh, okay, one more thing about this place, and then I'm gonna move on. but the deposit for some reason was only $199, which is kind of like, I get it. It's like, oh, deposit's only $199, but also, why is deposit only $199? That's kind of suspicious. Yeah, it's a little shady. And why is it $199? Why isn't it $200? Why you gotta make such an infuriatingly unrounded number, the deposit? And yeah, I don't know. This place just wasn't it. Just was not it. The next place that I went to on a different day also had really nice website photos, and I thought to myself, you know, if this place is true to the photos, I could actually probably like this as much as the place in Rampart Village, just because from the photos it looked like there was a lot of natural lighting. It looked like a decent size. The kitchen was slightly separated from the main room. Like, everything looked really good. And it was only going for $1,175, which was super cheap until I realized where it was, which was in Pico Union, which isn't I don't think it's a horrible area, but it's just like not the cleanest. There was definitely trash along a lot of the sidewalk, and there were stray cats walking around. There was a stray dog that ran past me and started taking a shit on the grass, and then peed on the trash, and then ran back past me into this hole in a fence at the house next to the apartment complex I was looking at, which is kind of impressive, honestly, if you've trained your dog to just run out, do its thing, and then run back home. But yeah, no one ever showed up to show me this place either. Honestly, I wasn't like super bummed about it. I realized that the location wasn't really my cup of tea, and it was just strange because it was dirty, and then there were all these places that looked kind of run down, and then like literally immediately next to them were these mansions with like huge lawns, huge driveways next door to the like old, you know, dingy looking apartment buildings. So that was, I don't know, that was weird too. But yeah. When this next place came up, I was actually able to book an appointment to see it 6 hours after the posting was made, which I felt really good about because just based off of the pictures, this place looked really, really nice. It was in Hollywood and going for $13.50, which is in the upper end of my budget, but it had 3 huge windows that let in a lot of light. The kitchen looked nice and had a lot of counter space. It was also separated from the main room, and the bathroom looked nice, and it kind of just had this really nice, light, airy, happy vibe to it. I don't know, I just really liked it a lot. And at the time that I saw it, the roof was also accessible. I don't know if that's a common thing, but when I went onto the roof, like, it had a really cool 360 view of LA, and I don't know, I just really liked it a lot. And honestly, I could already tell that a lot of people would also like it a lot too. When I was being shown the place, there was already one other guy who had the same appointment time as me, and we had like literally the first appointment possible. And as he and I were leaving, there was a girl standing outside waiting for her showing, and I was like, damn, this place it's gonna go so fast, and there are gonna be so many people applying to this place. So I had my hopes up, but I also tried not to have too high expectations for this place. So the last place that I saw was in Hollywood Heights and started at $14.50, which is above my maximum budget limit, but I wanted to go see it because the pictures made it look so nice. Parking was included, and the layout looked really nice because the kitchen had a lot of counter space, and the main room looked a good size. The bathroom looked kind of huge, and it just looked really nice. However, when I went into the actual unit itself, I think I just immediately snorted out loud to myself because I realized that the pictures made it look so much bigger than it actually was. Yeah, if anyone could ever get catfished by an apartment, I did, 100%. Like this, like it was not what I was expecting at all. It looked so small. I mean, it wasn't like tiny, but just compared to the pictures, like the way that the pictures made it look. And I was like, yeah, this is definitely not, even with the parking, it's not worth the $14.50. They were only offering like 2 weeks of rent for free instead of a month, and it's not a horrible option if, you know, if it comes down to it. I could still find myself liking it, but it just wasn't what I thought it would be. Damn, I almost made it the entire video without having to change the battery. But after a month of looking, with a brief hiatus in between, I am happy to say that I signed the lease to an apartment and I am moving in next week. So yeah, I'm moving next week. I will not tell you which apartment it is just yet, so you are gonna have to wait and see when I do my move-in video sometime in a couple of weeks, probably, hopefully. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope that you enjoyed apartment hunting with me, and I will see you in my next video. And yes, Queenie is still alive. Queenie, do you want to say hi to your fans? Hi, Mama. Okay, go back to sleep. Freaking old lady with her tongue that's too big for her mouth.